This is the mammoth. Scientists think hunting is one reason woolly mammoths disappeared. Climate change is another reason.
Well, hunting? Why?
Well, maybe people hunted them to use their fur to keep them warm, or their...
They like the fur.
Yeah, or
they
their
can
huge...
use lion for that, like other animals. But why they really have to use mammoth for this? Or the horns? Or they like the horns?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, you also have to remember that during the Ice Age, there weren't a lot of animals around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so... Oh, let's look at this. Okay, so this is a good chart. So this chart is going to tell us what animal, what living thing they're talking about, and what change happened in their environment. So for the saber-toothed cat, the change that happened in their environment is that they had warmer climate. Okay? So because of warmer climate, they became extinct. And the reason is they were unable to find food, unable to survive in warm climate. Okay, so what about the...
They were very hot and,
Yeah.
super hot. Like pretend it's summer of the year. We move the earth moves you closer to the sun, and I don't have any money, and I am wearing like a very layer.
Yeah, so here you can see how this change affected the saber-toothed cat, right? So what about the short-tailed albatross? What change happened?
Volcanic explosion. Oh.
Volcanic eruption, right?
Volcanic eruption.
Okay.
Survive.
So it might survive. Why? Why does it survive?
Fly to a new environment because it got wings.
All right, good. Okay, let's see. What about the bear? What change happened?
So cold climate. Survive again.
Survives. Why does it survive?
Grow thicker fur.
Right, so it just starts to grow thicker and thicker fur, and that way it survives in the cold. Okay. All right, so climate change may cause populations to become extinct. Disease and human activities may also cause populations to become extinct. When a new population moves into an ecosystem, a whole community can be in danger. Some populations can survive sudden changes such as these. Other populations cannot.
Well, can you take me some examples, but about the bears? Like trees. So some trees can survive. Some plants can survive in the winter.
Some plants can, yeah. It really just depends, right? Okay, so go ahead and read this, please.
Climate changes may cause populations become extinct.
Populations
extinct. Disease and human activity may also cause populations to become extinct. When a new population moves to an ecosystem, a whole community can be in danger. Some populations can survive sudden changes of these, such as these other populations cannot. Well, let's say some plants, for example, that I just make. I can't think of others.
So, for example, what happens if a human goes to live in a place where it's super, super cold, more like colder than, for example, Alaska? They would survive, right? But they would have to wear a lot of coats and a hat and gloves and boots and a lot of things, but they will be able to survive, right? But if a human goes to live in Antarctica, all the way on top where only the scientists live, and they're not prepared, then maybe they won't survive, right? So it really has to depend if you're prepared or not. But what would happen if the Earth started to get closer to the sun? Would we be able to survive?
Yes.
Well, if it gets a tiny bit closer, then maybe yes, right? But if it gets very close, then no, we would not.
Well, yes, but let's just don't wear anything. That may work.
But it would be
sunscreen, and the more workers make sunscreen, and the sunscreen is more cheaper. Some sunscreen are even $1, $5.
Okay, well, it really depends, because if it gets too close, then it doesn't matter how much sunscreen you wear. I don't think it would be enough. But let's see. So high temperatures are causing glaciers to melt. What might happen to polar bears? So glaciers are those big kind of mountains, but it's just ice. So now it's getting hotter and all of those glaciers are melting, and the polar bears live around these glaciers, right? So if this continues to happen, if all the ice melts in the polar bear's environment, then polar bears might get extinct in a few years, right?